Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. We have a new mini setup. I'm not sure if this will stay the permanent one. I kind of want to kind of show my pictures off a bit more, but the annoying thing with my new apartment, I don't really have like a fairly flat out space. I have it on the door, so maybe I might put some hooks on the other door and then kind of just flip this, but I'm still in the middle of making my creative outlay of this place. But anyway, I thought I was making some shorts and I was talking about one thing and I couldn't really get it down to like a minute or under that. I was too busy yapping away. So I thought I'd just turn this into a long video instead because it's a very interesting element I've noticed since being in Japan. And it's a little bit of a culture shock compared to the UK and Japan. And that is the whole gift giving of Omiyage. So if you don't know what your Omiyage is, it's basically a little gift you give to either your friends or families. That part I can understand. But it's more, there's also the expectation to give it to the companies you work for. And it's just a little kind of savior of, hey, I was away, I thought of you, so here's a little gift. And it's not a big gesture. It tends to be like a little cake you get from the area you have traveled. And for me, I always found this very interesting because I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a game to play favorites because especially for some people, if you work for many different parts of a company, you can work and experience a lot of different people. And trying to give them all a gift is a bit of an unrealistic step. Like, it is crazy how much you might have to give to someone, especially if you work in the schools. That's a really good example because if you work in the schools, you may have to give, potentially 50 or 60 omiyage gifts to one another, where to get a box of 50 or 60, that is super expensive. I was very lucky to a degree, especially for my main school, is around 30 teachers. And 30 teachers is pretty reasonable to get in the boxes. You can sort of find enough boxes that will do a big set of 30. But if you go any bigger, you tend to have to buy multiple boxes and kind of spend a lot of money. So this can get quite expensive if you work for a big company and there's a lot of people you may kind of work and diverse with. And the thing is, for me, I was doing the omiyage, but I wasn't doing it for every section I worked with, because this is something that could happen if you teach English in Japan, is that you may not work in one school, you may work in multiple. My biggest point at one was I was pretty confident. I think between 6 to 7 schools I was working in one period. And if I hypothetically got gifts for every single school, that would be super, super expensive. So you kind of do break it down to, well, I'm at this school the most, so I'm going to give it to this one. And it's the same for other things, because also with the schools, you do have the admin side of like the Board of Education. So you could also be giving it to them as well. And that just makes it very expensive. And I know for me, I definitely did a favorites game for sure, just because it's expensive. And also for some of the big schools as well, from what my friends have told me, they are in schools that have got maybe 50 to 60 teachers and they don't want to spend a fortune on the omiyage. So what they do instead is they normally just pick their favorites and then they just give it very quietly without other people seeing, so it doesn't kind of build like a bit of like, why did they get a snack and not me? And this element also gets very interesting when it comes to like March, April time, where people are moving and changing departments, because you will get farewell gifts from the people you are leaving or you've worked with for a while, and you really notice it there on like the favoritism or how much they liked you as a person. Because if they liked you more than other colleagues, you get more gifts. Like, I really noticed this in March this year when I did move schools, because there was one teacher, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of like, not many of the other staff members working at school actually enjoyed working with this teacher, and they were always having arguments and there was always drama about this teacher. They just didn't like their teaching method. And what was interesting, that teacher got moved in March as well, and on the table, the level of gifts that teacher got from the other teachers were much lower. And what I found was really interesting, there's a gift I got from one teacher, and my gift was much bigger than this teacher's gift. And for being an ALT, that's really interesting because normally on the kind of teacher ranking, an ALT is kind of like the lowest, the below bar one. So your gifts are like okay, but they're never the best because obviously you're just kind of in and there to teach the English. There might be the language barrier. You might not speak to the other teachers as much. So it was super interesting to see like, oh wow, some of the gifts I have gotten is actually like a higher ranking to this teacher. So I just found that super interesting where the whole kind of gift giving, like, you know, there's kind of a more underlining meaning to it. I definitely notice with my time being at all these schools and doing this kind of whole culture, especially when you work in like a bigger company or bigger system, there is definitely more like a kind of unconscious layer of maybe favoritism, who likes who, and you just kind of see a bit more like a social construct when it comes to the whole gift giving. It's super interesting. And yeah, I do recommend if you come to Japan, definitely do it, because if you want to build better favor with people, it's a great way to start a conversation. Because I used to do a lot of traveling on the weekends and I'd go to different prefectures, and then I'd always make sure the gift I brought back stated like the prefecture, or I'd always get like a really cool one. And it really actually started a lot of conversations because a lot of teachers was like, oh, where did you go? Like, oh, you went to Kyoto. How was Kyoto? And blah, 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 blah. Like it got a lot more teachers to kind of speak to me, especially on the way they might be a bit hesitant to come and talk to the foreigner, especially with having low Japanese. But it's a really great way to build favor, build conversations. And what's even more wild, like they really do notice if you give this, because I was just doing it because I think it's a fun thing, you know. Like my biggest reason why I did it was I thought it was fun. And I thought, well, if I do it, and then if someone else goes out somewhere and gets snacks, I will get a snack back. I basically did it because I was like, I want to have snacks. Please give me snacks. So I thought if I give you a snack, you'll probably give me a snack. And it did work. I did get a lot of snacks, so I was quite happy. And I also enjoy seeing where other people went, what kind of snack it was like. It's a fun little kind of system. But they do really pick up on it because I had to ask for a reference from my old vice principal. And on the reference that they gave me, it stated about how, you know, I was very kind and considerate, and because of me doing the whole Omiyage gift giving culture. And she mentioned it, and I thought that was really interesting that she actually mentioned the whole Omiyage gift giving culture, you know, that she was doing it, she was partaking in it. And I think it, for on their point of view, for like the Japanese mindset, it kind of shows like, look, she's a team player because she's actually doing this kind of culture thing. She's bringing the gift. So I just thought that was a really interesting element she actually mentioned in my reference, because I know in the UK, if I just brought in gifts like snacks every day, or not every day, like if I went somewhere and I brought a snack, that would not have been mentioned in this reference at all. So really interesting to see like those small details. They really do pick up on it. You know, there's definitely something for sure that I do think some of the Japanese people, they do watch you like a hawk sometimes, even if you don't realize it. So super, super interesting, the whole gift giving culture out here. And even when you just kind of break it down and like there's to me, I honestly think there's a bigger meaning of it than just giving a little cake. It becomes so broken down. I think if someone's like a sociologist, you could probably write like a whole thesis paper on the whole breakdown of like the whole Omiyage culture and what it actually means and the underlying roots to this whole gift giving. It's super, super interesting, and I do recommend it. And also, if you're in Japan, go to the gift shops, buy the little Omiyage cake boxes, because the snacks are really fun and some of them are designed really well and they are pretty tasty. I just recommend it, and you know, bring some back for your friends and family. It's a fun little thing Japan does, especially just showing off what's best in the local area and town. So, did you know about this fact about Omiyage? What's your thoughts and opinions? Have you done it? Would you want to do it if you come to Japan? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And I will see you next time for another video about life in Japan. Bye!